好，那现在进来这个地方哈，就有很多你们可以选的咯啊 ，authentic materials, but can be your first book because they're interesting to read and they're not difficult. 所以这边哈，所以最主要我希望同学可以先选择的是 readers or young adult literature。Young adult literature 青少年读本啊 ，Young adult literature means they are authentic materials, but they are not difficult to read because they're for young adult readers, native speaker readers. Okay, so for example, this one, 你知道这个系列吧 ？Narnia 系列的啊，都拍成电影啊，《纳尼亚传说》嘛 ，C.S. Lewis，The Chronicles of Narnia。有非常多啊，阅读方真的很棒哎，全部帮同学都准备齐全了哈。所以你看，像一路走过来，你就知道中大真的很好哦。Yeah, spend a lot of budget getting so many wonderful books for you to read. Okay, so like 这个 Narnia 其中，像第一本这个就是这个 The Magician's Nephew，Magician's Nephew。那同学可能更知道的是这一本第二本哈。很多同学都可能看过这个电影，《The Witch》，它是叫《The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe》。Okay, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Okay, about several little kids that accidentally enter this world of Narnia, and they have to fight with the evil witch. Okay, so this is the book. 但是 again, it's authentic material. And even if you love the movie, I don't know if you like the book, okay? So still, you want to come here and read a few pages to see if you like it. Again, I want to emphasize, reading is a very personal thing. Each one of us has our personal preference. So you have to read it yourself to see if you really like it, okay? 就好像这个, Twilight is here, okay. Wow, you see, you see the page here. 你看翻成这样，你就知道很多同学喜欢看这一本Twilight. It's very famous recently, famous vampire stories, right? Twilight 是翻成暮光之城嘛，哈。那它已经有好几本这个后面的就是这个好多它的这个书了啊。You can see it's a big book, and maybe you like vampire stories, so you might want to try it. But again, it's a big story, so you read a few pages. If you find that it's too difficult for you, please put it back. Put it back and choose something else. There are many great choices here. And then after you finish more stories and you develop your reading skills, like guessing meaning from context, and you have more vocabulary, and you know that you can just read for main ideas only. Once you develop those reading skills, you can come back and read Twilight, okay? And so here, 这边还有一个很奇特的系列哈 ，OK， 有一些我的学生很喜欢，可是这种书我不喜欢啊，是什么 ？OK, this kind of stories, OK， 这个系列叫做 Goosebumps series. Goosebumps 就是那个鸡皮疙瘩嘛哈。When you feel touched or when you feel scared, you will have goosebumps all over your body, and that's why this series is called Goosebumps series. And they're all ghost stories. Like this one is the Haunted Mask. Okay, wow, a lot of goosebumps stories here. You can see. So again, you see, it's personal preference. I myself don't like thrillers or ghost stories at all, but I know many of my students enjoy reading ghost stories. So if that's for you, you can take a look, okay? Yeah. Okay, and then we can come over here. Oh, talking about thrillers, 惊悚小说thrillers. 惊悚小说很有名的作者就是这一位，Stephen King, okay? He wrote many great thrillers, and 每一本都是几乎都是 bestsellers, okay? And if you take a look, you can see that, wow, we have a nice collection of Stephen King's thrillers here for you. But you probably have also noticed that each one of them is very thick， 都很大本哈。所以你说哦，我很喜欢惊悚小说，可是这个可能对我太难，怎么办？为什么书原著会比较难 ？Because the description is very vivid, with a lot of details. When the author wants to describe one scene in the forest， 光是森林里的一幕 ，he probably used many words, a lot of description, and give you that kind of frightening feelings there. And that's why sometimes you don't understand because there are too many words. Okay. One way to solve the problem is that you read more readers first, and then you're going to find out a secret. That is, a lot of time, many words only appear once in the story, and it doesn't influence your understanding at all. And as long as you know this part is describing the scary feeling there in the forest when you are alone, then that's enough. You can go on, okay? And when your reading ability is better, you can come back and read in detail. 就像我们上次讲的，你可以先读过去 ，get the main idea, and then you understand the major plot of the story, and then you can come. That's doing top-down reading, right? Okay. And after you read for half an hour, you can come back and read one paragraph and read in detail, doing bottom-up reading, and then you can pick up new vocabulary. Okay? 那当然，如果你觉得还是太难的话 ，Don't forget we have readers. 像这本《The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon》，记不记得我上次有简短介绍这本书？A girl when hiking with her family, but she was lost in the forest, and she only had a radio with her, a Walkman with her, and she was so frightened. She didn't know what to do. And Tom Gordon was her favorite baseball player, and so at that time the radio was broadcasting live Tom Gordon's baseball game. So she turned on the radio and pretending Tom Gordon was with her, and then he would save her from her danger. Okay, so here, this book is very interesting. If you feel the original one, the bestseller, is too difficult, you can start with a reader. 你看，我们有 reader 这个 reader 系列是 Macmillan 的刚才我介绍两个，一个是 Penguin， 一个是 Oxford University Press, right? And we also have Macmillan Publishing Company 出的这一系列所以 reader 我们有非常多系列那这个书就是这个书的 reader, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, and you can see it's much smaller, right? Okay? 为什么会变比较薄？就是把多一点的 descriptions 删掉嘛But still keep the essence, keep the most exciting part of the story. So when you read the reader, you can still feel the very thrilling feelings there. Okay, very exciting story. Okay, so don't forget many great choices for you in reading corner. Okay, and Da Vinci Code. Okay, see, 很厚吧很像你的微积分课本吧，是不是 ？Okay, so Dan Brown, great story. But again, I wouldn't suggest it as your first book. You can read it. If you start reading when you are a freshman, 你从大一开始读，那你到大三、大四绝对就可以读这个书了像我们不是有讲，我们光电系有一个汤博文同学，他现在已经大四，那他从大一开始就来 Reading Corner. His teacher took him here, and he just fell in love with Reading Corner. He came here whenever he had free time. Now he had completed almost 900 hours of self-paced learning. 几乎完成快要900小时的阅读所以你看，那他一定为什么会这样做 ？Nobody pushed him because he find it interesting. Okay, he find it fascinating, and he didn't want to stop. Okay, so that's wonderful, really inspiring. Okay, and then 哇，这边这一系列就非常非常棒，非常适合推荐给同学这边都是 Young Adult Literature，Young Adult Literature。你看，选一本书就坐在这边很舒服的地方，多好Young Adult Literature 里面，我们最主要先介绍这个 Newbery Medal Books and Newbery Honor Books。 Newbery 这个奖哈，就是每年颁给最好的 Young Adult Literature。那它有分2种奖项。When you see the book with the gold medal, then you know it's the Newbery Medal Book， 就是当年的得奖第1名的小说 Newbery Medal Book。And if you see the medal is silver medal, then you know it's Newbery Honor Books. Honor Books means it's also very good, okay? But this is the winner, and these are, like we know there's a term called honorable mention, right? Honorable mention, like you join a contest, your performance is also very good, but you didn't win the first place award, then you belong to the honorable mentions. 通常我们说优良啊，或者是佳作啊这种味道哈。So these silver medal books are Newbery Honor books. Okay, so one way to decide which book to read is to see if it's a book that has received some kind of award. Okay, for example, Newbery is a very good way for you to decide, because you can trust that it must be an excellent book. Okay, so we have a nice collection, very good collection of Newbery books for you. 好多哦，这边通通都是 Newbery 的书。那这些书真的，如果你自己去像什么Page One 或者是什么诚品书局去买每一本都很贵啊But we have collected them for you. Really nice, right? How lucky you are to be an NCU student. Okay, and so for example, this one, Newbery Medal book. This book is called Number the Stars. A very famous author. And Number the Stars. You see this star here? Okay, I don't know if you know this star. This is the star on the national flag of Israel. 以色列的国旗上就有这个星星啊，大卫之星。So you know a lot of Jewish people will wear this kind of necklace. Okay, so this story is about 2 little girls and their friendship. And the time is during Second World War. You know, during Second World War, Hitler and the Nazis wanted to kill all the Jewish people. And this story is about 2 little girls, and one of them was a Jew, okay? And the story happened in Copenhagen, the capital city of Denmark. And our heroine of the story is the 10-year-old, sorry, okay, 眼镜要拿下来才看到 Anne-Marie, okay? 10-year-old Anne-Marie, and she didn't know that her best friend was a Jew. But when Nazis moved into Copenhagen, she realized that she had to do something to save her best friend. Okay, and she's only a 10-year-old. What kind of method could she think of? And she has to be very brave in order to save her best friend. This is a great story, 很棒啊，真的。坐下来你一读你就不想结束了，你很想继续，而且这个书也不大so can be a very good choice for you. And this one, this is a very interesting story. Ella Enchanted. 我们这边有好多本 Ella Enchanted， 你就知道，这本书很 popular， 很多同学喜欢看It's like a Cinderella story, Ella Enchanted. It's made into a movie also. Ella was born with a gift from her godmother, just like Cinderella. Okay, and the gift was obedience. Obedience, that means she had to obey whatever people said. Okay, even people say some very strange, give her some strange command or order, she had to follow. Okay, if people say that you have to chop off your head, and she had to do that because that's the gift from her very silly godmother. Okay, but in the story, of course, Ella didn't want to do that. So she wanted to break the curse. She wanted to change her fate. Okay, and so this is a great story, very interesting. and also like 这个也很有名啊，这个 Holes 我们有好多本啊 by Louis Sachar, very famous author. This one is also 我拿这本好了，这本你看到 it's also a Newbery winner book. Okay, Newbery medal book. Louis Sachar, Holes. Okay, we have many copies here. Then you know it's very popular book here. Okay, it's made into a movie also. 也有拍成电影，就是那个 Shia LaBeouf 演 Transformers 演变形金刚那个男主角就是演这个电影哈。Okay, so these are Newbery books. A lot of them wonderful books. Okay, and besides Newbery books, we also have some great choices for you here. Like this one. Wow, very nice book. You have to read it. Sooner or later, you should give it a try. Charlotte's Web. 夏绿蒂的网，很多同学可能都读过或听过 ，or maybe you have watched the movie Charlotte's Web. Who's Charlotte? Charlotte is this spider. Okay, it's also a book about friendship. The very unusual friendship between Charlotte the spider and Wilbur the pig. Okay, a very touching story, great story, and you got to know the author. The author is E.B. White. E.B. White. E.B. White used to be a reporter, and that's why he wrote very beautifully, and the sentences he wrote were not difficult at all, but simple but great, simple but carry very deep meaning there. So Charlotte's Web, really wonderful. I read the story to my kids when they were very little, and they loved the story very much. Okay, so that's really a very great story. And E.B. White 写的书不是只有 Charlotte Web， 还有像这一本也非常有名，《The Trumpet of the Swan》天鹅的喇叭。It's also about the love between the father and the son. Okay, so The Trumpet of the Swan, great choices here， 都在这边。这边就有 E.B. White 好多书，你看到好多本，还有 Stuart Little。Stuart Little is a mouse. It's made into a movie also. Okay, so 这个 E.B. White 的书非常好的 choices. And the next author I want to introduce, many students read their first English novel written by this author. This author is Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl's story. Roald Dahl. Okay, Roald Dahl. He's a very interesting writer. All his books are very interesting, marvelous, and full of fun. Okay, and you can see his books are not big stories, but they are full of crazy ideas and interesting ideas there. Okay, 其实你一定听过他的书像什么书？像这一本大概是他最有名的Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is the book. 查理的巧克力工厂也有拍成电影Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's about the little boy whose name is Charlie, and about this very special person whose name is Mr. Wonka. Mr. Wonka owned a very special chocolate factory, and nobody was allowed to enter his chocolate factory. But then one day, he sent out 5 golden tickets, and whoever got the golden ticket would be invited to enter the chocolate factory, and Charlie was one of them. Why? Because Mr. Wonka wanted to decide who is going to take care of the chocolate factory after him. It's a very interesting story, okay? And besides Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 他的下一本叫做这个，还是 Charlie 当主角，还有 Mr. Wonka, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator， 这是他的续集然后呢，他还有一些别的书，就好多都有拍成电影像这个 James and the Giant Peach 也有拍成电影。It's also a very interesting story about this little boy whose name is James. And Fantastic Mr. Fox. You can see this is a very small book. It's not a reader. It's not a simplified reader. It's authentic material, but it's very easy to read and very interesting. Mr. Fox, the hunters wanted to kill Mr. Fox and his family, but Mr. Fox was so smart and so fantastic. He found a very good way to stay away from the hunters. Okay, so Fantastic Mr. Fox. 其实Roald Dahl 还有好多书哦，像这个 ，like this one, The Magic Finger. 哇，这本好像比这个更薄，是不是 ？Okay, Magic Finger. You see this exciting little girl? She has a magic finger. How come it's a magic finger? I'll leave it to you. You might want to read it. It's a very interesting book. Okay, and then this one is also written by Roald Dahl. It's called Matilda. You see, it's a bigger one, but the story is very fascinating about this girl whose name is Matilda. She has some very special magic power. That is, she can move things without touching them. She just look at the thing and then the thing can move. Okay? And in the story, she used her magic power to help her beloved teacher. Okay? So this one very interesting also. 我觉得 Roald Dahl 的书真的很适合当做你的第一本书 because his stories are very interesting, full of fun, and easy to read. Okay? So you might want to choose Roald Dahl's books to be your first one. And if we move over here, you can see some other books here, also young adult literature. For example, this one, Because of Winn-Dixie. This dog is Winn-Dixie. Okay? And 之前葛文瑶老师在那个就阅读坊办的Culture Express 每个学期差不多好像在下学期我们都有这个 Culture Express 的活动，会介绍阅读坊的书啊。葛文瑶老师就有介绍过这本书。It's also made into a movie. Okay? And the dog's name is Winn-Dixie, and it's about the dog and the little girl. If you're a dog person, you love dogs very much, you're going to find this book really interesting. Okay? And also, I don't know if you ever heard of this author, Mitch Albom. Mitch Albom. 他的第一本书其实不是这一本哈，第一本书是这个 Tuesdays with Morrie， 最后14堂星期二的课。It's a true story. It's the story between Mitch Albom and his university professor, Morrie Schwartz. A very touching story. 为什么是最后14堂星期二的课 Because his old professor was dying. And Mitch Albom met with his old professor on Tuesday for 14 weeks. And each week they talk about a very important topic about life. And that's why it's Tuesdays with Morrie. It's a great story. We also have the book here. And 自学中心也有这个电影啊，这有拍成电影，非常好看啊。那后来他就写了这本 The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. 5 People You Meet in Heaven. 天堂遇到的5个人，也非常的好看哈。那最近他还又写了一本叫做 For One More Day。他这些书其实都是，虽然是 original， 而且看起来比较厚啊，但并不难读 ，because these books are about life, and each one of us has life experience. We have the background knowledge, so it's not difficult to understand. Okay, yeah. 然后这边你会看到我们还有一个很可爱的系列哦，叫做 Little House Collection. Little House Collection. Okay.Little House Books， 它这边呢都是小小的书，但是是原著的哦，然后呢这一本是等于把所有这个作者他的全部 Little House 的 collection 全部在一起。那在这下面这里就是分的，有9本9本 Little House Collection。It's very interesting to read， 非常有趣哦。关于这个家庭，他们在美国在比较早期的时代，他们怎么样在这个wilderness 里面建立他们的家园很好看这个书Okay, so a lot of great choices here under young adult literature 青少年文学这个部分So you might want to look for 青少年文学 and readers. These 2 parts are the parts that you can start with. And then if you keep going here, 你到这边还是继续是青少年文学 然后这边有一个很有趣的系列哦，有的同学可能以前读过中文版的，这个是什么系列？就是这个 Magic Treehouse。Magic Treehouse books are written by Mary Pope Osborne。OK， 啊，这个书是非常受欢迎的。It's for like young readers who are native speakers of English. But since here in Taiwan, the situation is different. Our environment is EFL, English as a foreign language. 所以虽然在对 native speakers 来说，他们可能是比较小学啦读的这一类的书，但对我们来说，只要我们能够这些都读得很熟练 ，actually you can also develop your reading fluency and learn a lot of wonderful chunks. OK 所以它这一系列好多书哦，我看我们这边好像已经到20几本哈，20like this one number 1. So it's about a brother and a sister, okay, and they always there's a magic tree house, and once they enter the magic tree house, they could go back in time, okay, like this one they went back to dinosaur, the time, Jurassic age, right, okay, and number 2, the night at dawn, 所以是回到骑士的时代哈。Number 3 is 所以都是大家很感兴趣的一些时代 ，Mummies in the morning. So it's in Egypt, inside the pyramids, right? And number 4, pirates past noon. Pirates 海盗的故事啊。And number 5, Night of the Ninjas 忍者的故事。So a lot of interesting stories for you to read. Okay?